Hello friends! Today we're going to try approaching drawing a human figure and overcoming that fear, if you have it. We'll break down proportions and practice building the figure step by step using this masterclass. We'll see what can help us, what might hinder us and what to pay attention to. Let's start with a basic rule. The human head fits into the body 7 times. You can even grab a ruler if you'd like. Let's say, for example, we start with 2.5 units for the head. Then we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be the body if the person were standing on the ground. But since we're drawing a ballerina who is on her toes, we'll add a bit more height for the feet. Here's the heel, and here's where the foot will be. A critical point here is to make sure the figure stands straight. Even when drawing a figure in motion, it's important to pay close attention to balance points so the person doesn't look like they're falling over. In this case, the pose is quite static and the figure is standing straight on their toes. So we have the head. I'm sketching it loosely for now. Then we have the neck, and here are the shoulders. One shoulder, the other one. The figure is slightly turned 3/4. Here we have the waist, which is slightly above the navel. Below is where the hips begin, and here is the pelvis area. Now, moving further down, if the pelvis were visible, it would be located here. Here's the torso, but we can't see much of it. The rib cage is around this line, and from the rib cage the abdomen leads down. We can't see the legs, but for understanding the posture, we can roughly sketch them out. The knee would be here, and the feet are probably crossed in this position. The heel is pulled back because the legs are slightly crossed. Remember, if the legs were bent, she wouldn't be able to stand on her toes as easily. In this case, the legs aren't critical since we can't see them. However, it's important to establish their positioning for the lower part of the figure. Next, the skirt, which helps to cover the legs. Notice the angle of the skirt as it fans out. It has a shape that spreads like a fan. Here's the arm, which extends backward. The shoulder is behind the rib cage, and the other arm is hidden. It would be here, but we can't see it. This is our rough sketch. Now we'll start refining it, erasing the extra lines. Let's begin with the head. When I draw the head, I usually use this method. The head is a circle, and attached to the circle is the jawbone. Depending on the tilt of the head, the jawline may vary. In this case, the distance from the top of the head to the jaw and from the jaw to the chin are roughly equal. We'll mark the eye line, right here in the middle. I use a cross to mark the eye level, and then we have the nose. And over here will be the eyes and cheekbones. Erase the extra lines. The eyes are here following this line, and the ear is also on the eye line. The ear attaches where the jawline meets the neck. Now, about the hairstyle. Since the head is turned, the hair will be more visible on this side where the head is tilted, and the neck comes out from behind the ear. We can make the chin a bit sharper here to give her a more delicate face. As for how we show the eyes, we'll just barely hint at them with a small line to keep the face light, since it's very small. You want to show the eyes very delicately, placing these little lines precisely. The cross on the face will help you position these tiny lines and dots correctly, especially in a 3/4 view. Now moving to the shoulders, we've already done a rough sketch of the rib cage, but now we'll refine the placement of the shoulders. The shoulder here is more sloped, and we can add the sleeve of the dress. This helps us understand that the arm is round. There's also a small detail here. the neck goes down, and in the centre we have the collarbone. This bone holds the shoulder and creates a slight dip. It's a tiny feature, but it gives the impression of realism. It shows that it's not just a stick, but an actual shoulder that curves back. Here's the bone, and the neck extends a bit from this point. The shoulder doesn't just go straight into the body. There's a muscle connecting to the back. Now we erase all the extra lines and define the waist. We can also show a slight outward curve here, where the body turns. Since she's a bit turned sideways, the pelvis will be here, and this part of the dress might stick out a little more, though not necessarily. Again, it's not a straight line, but a curve that shows she has a rounded waist. Now, we just need to finish the legs. We see part of the calf, and here the foot is facing us. Usually the foot is about the same size as the face. Hands and feet are roughly the same size as the face. Here we see the heel, and it creates a nice curve. The feet might seem a little small, so I'll make them slightly bigger. Where the foot is facing forward, there won't be much curve in the calf. But where the foot is sideways, you can see the back of the leg. If you look at yourself, you'll notice this curve. The curve gives realism, and ballerinas often have feet that are longer than their heads, so don't be afraid to make the feet larger. They have point shoes on after all. Thank you for watching. This video is part of a series of paid lessons. You can get access to other paid lessons via Patreon or directly through my website. Thank you for your support. I also appreciate donations. Even if you're not ready for paid lessons but enjoy my videos and want to support the channel, you'll find all the ways to do so in the description of the channel. Thank you. Please like, share with your friends, and continue watching the lesson.
Baby, 지금 우린 함께 할 수 있을까? Baby, 네 눈을 보면 알 수 있을까? 너도 내 맘과 같았으면 좋겠어. 네 조금 느린 발걸음이 나는 좋았어. Barefoot, barefoot, take off your shoes and step in the bed.
In the next part, we'll focus on colour. This will be relatively simple, as we'll work in a monochromatic scheme with two main colours, purple and brown. The purple will serve as a cooler tone, while the brown, being warmer, will help create the overall tone.
Barefoot, barefoot, 우린 같은 온도에 있어. 푸른 네 바닷속은 얼마나 깊을까? 바다가고 싶어.
Additionally, the purple is quite bright, so you'll see some brighter spots on the skirt, while in other areas it will be lighter, like a reddish purple. So we're getting a more muted, warmer tone. I'm carefully working on the dark hair. In monochrome works like this. If you're doing them yourself, the process is as follows. You identify the warmest, darkest, and lightest areas, and then place intermediate tones. Based on what we establish as the lightest and darkest, we determine everything else.
내가 보고 싶을 때, 또 네가 많이 아플 때, 이 노래.
There's a shadow under the neck, but it's much lighter in tone. We indicate the shadow under her head with a lighter shade. We'll carefully show the eyelashes, eyes, and a small dot for the nose. You can also slightly emphasize the chin and then erase the pencil lines later. A tiny deviation here, and the lips have already shifted. We'll clean that up.
절대 추운 날은 없을 거야. Cause I'll be with you 오늘도 좋은 꿈만 꿨으면 좋겠어 baby Barefoot, barefoot Take off your shoes and step on the bed Barefoot, barefoot 우린 같은
Next, her dress has a fairly saturated tone. Once it dries, I'll add more shadows. For now, I'll apply the first layer of the lightest shadows using a slightly lighter colour, perhaps even adding a bit of blue to get a more greyish tone.
Take off your shoes and step on the bed Barefoot, barefoot 우린 같은 온도에 있어 푸른 네 바닷속은 얼마나 깊을까
With this lighter shade, I'll highlight the brightest areas. Don't worry about making mistakes here. It's fine if a fold doesn't turn out exactly as expected. Since this part of the dress recedes into the background, it blends slightly with it. Now, I'll place darker shadows here under the chest, under the arm and on the shoulder. I'll add more shading to the dress and also to the legs.
Baby, 지금 우린 함께 할 수 있을까? Baby, 네 눈을 보면 알 수 있을까? 너도 내 맘과 같았으면 좋겠어 네 조금 느린 발걸음이 나는 좋았어 Barefoot, barefoot Take off your shoes and step on the bed Barefoot, barefoot 우린 같은 온도에 있어
I had a little drop of paint here. The shadow continues down the leg and onto the other leg, creating a shadow at the back. The shadow is actually quite intense. It moves here under the heel. This is where we'll add a stronger shadow.
바다 가고 싶을 때 내가 보고 싶을 때 또 네가 많이 아플 때 이 노래를 들어줘 절대 추운 날은 없을 거야 Cause I'll be with you 오늘도 좋은 꿈만 꿨으면 좋겠어 baby Barefoot, barefoot Take off your shoes
And that's it. A quick, rough sketch focusing mostly on colours. As time goes on, it will become easier, and we'll move on to more complex subjects like veining on human figures and so on. So, keep practicing. Don't be afraid of drawing people. No social phobia, right? See you in the next masterclass. Bye.